Okay, good morning everyone and welcome to this morning's meeting. I'll start with agenda item 1, appointment of chairperson. Could I please have a proposer and a seconder?
If I could propose myself as being chair, and if I could have a seconder.
I'll second.
Wonderful, thank you both. I'll hand over to you now, Councillor Hurley, to take the meeting, please.
Thank you. Agenda item 2, Chair's announcements. Good morning and welcome to this Teams meeting of the Education, Skills and Wellbeing Cabinet Board on the 24th of March 2023. I'm Councillor Jeremy Hurley and I will be chairing this meeting. Please ensure that your phones are switched to silent for the duration of the meeting and raise your hand if you wish to speak. Agenda item 3, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest?
Do we have to, because I'm a governor, do we have to declare that?
No.
That's fine.
Okay, there we are. Thank you. Agenda item 4, public question time. We have received no questions from the public. Agenda item 5, appointment of local authority governor representatives. The report is on pages 3 to 28 and is here for decision. I would like to ask John Birch to take us through this report, please.
By all means, good morning, everybody. You've had a copy of the report in advance. I'll take you through the salient points of it. Most of it is it's but it speaks for itself. So we'll start off on page 6 then with Abbey Primary School. The request there is for a reappointment of Councillor Mike Harvey. You happy to agree? Great.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Page 7, Baglan Primary School. No applications have been made. The request there is to defer the recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Over on page 8, Blindhonson Primary School. We've had an application here from a Mr. Paul Gwilym, who wants to be considered for a vacancy at the school. Just to confirm, we've had references in for Mr. Gwilym. There is a vacancy there, and both of those references are satisfactory. He used to be a governor at the school back in 2017.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Central Primary School, recommendation here is to reappoint Mrs. Suzanne Amos and Mr. Michael Thomas. They're both serving governors at the moment.
Yeah,
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Coed Frank Primary School, no applications have been received. The request is here to defer this appointment.
Okay.
Thank you. Same request here for Crynant Primary School. No vacancies. There is vacancies. No applications at the moment.
Working on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Crumlin Primary School. The application here is to reappoint Mr. Howard Davis. I will point out, although the recommendation says Howard Davis, the other information says Howard Jones. And just to confirm, it is Howard Davis. Our apologies, a typing error.
Problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Neath Primary School on page 13. No applications received to date for this vacancy. The request is to defer the appointment.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Duravelin Comprehensive School is a vacancy that exists there at the moment. The request is to appoint Mrs. Gemma Addis Fuller. For members' information, Mrs. Fuller is currently a parent governor at the school. The request is to transfer her over to a local authority governor. There is a vacancy there. She's been a governor at the school since 2018, and normally requests such as this is because parents, the children have either left school or are due to leave school, and therefore they're not eligible under that category. She's doing a very good job. Mrs. Addis Fuller is also working for us in Coed Frank Primary School, so is well adapted to the education system. And of course, you'll probably know Coed Frank is a feeder school into Duravelin, so it sits perfectly as well.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Eastern Primary School, there's a vacancy there, however, no applications. The request is to defer the appointment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. St. Joseph's Junior School, there's a vacancy exists there. The request is if you could consider appointing Mrs. Jessica O'Callaghan. This is a new appointment. Just to brief you, Mrs. O'Callaghan works for the authority. She works in the Education Wellbeing team, where she's been for some time now. She lives in the vicinity of the school on Baglan Moors. We've obtained 2 references from her, and both are satisfactory, and the recommendation is, would you consider her appointment?
Yep, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Tonna Primary School, there are 2 vacancies there, no applications at the moment. The request is to defer the both of them.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you. YGG Blind Dulles, similar request here to defer the appointment whilst we seek a suitable applicant.
No problem.
Thank you. YGG Castell Neath, request here is to reappoint Councillor Alan Lockyer.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. YGG Cwm Neath, is a vacancy that exists here for Mr. Trevor Evans. Mr. Trevor Evans was in the school many years ago, but he members asked for him to stand down because the new local member asked could he take up his seat, and it wasn't possible to allow Mr. Evans to continue because he didn't fit the category of being a local councillor or a county councillor for the area. So this is no reflection to Mr. Evans whatsoever. He has experience of being a governor. It was just unfortunate at the time there wasn't a position for him, and the local elected member wanted to take his seat, and we were sorry to see Mr. Evans go, but the chair of the governing body has now asked him to reapply again given a new vacancy, and we are more than happy that that he has applied and would recommend him to you for appointment.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. YGG Cwm Llingfell, request here is to appoint Mrs. Neath Cole-Jones. For background information, this is a new appointment. Mrs. Cole-Jones is a Welsh language leader and a curriculum tutor for the Open University. She lives in the Cwm Llingfell area, and we've obtained 2 references, one from Yslyfera Brody, the head teacher, and one from her line manager, and both are more than satisfactory. And the request is you consider her appointment, please.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. YGG Pontedower, no applications received for this vacancy, and the request is to defer the appointment.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. YGG Rosafon, currently there exists 2 vacancies. However, we're in the unusual position here compared to some of the other appointments. We've got 3 applications, which is great, but it does cause a bit of a headache. If it helps, it will help. There is a vacancy on the governing body as well in the community bracket. So all 3 we've obtained references. All 3 are satisfactory. We're delighted with all 3 applications. All 3 have been told there are only 2 vacancies, but a third is a community governor. All 3 are content with that. It really is a case of which 2 become the LEA governor and which 2 become the community governor. But we're delighted to appoint all 3 onto that governing body. If it helps, Laura Hutchins is one application. She lives in Talbot. Her background is she's a senior lecturer, a programme director of education studies for the University of Wales, Trinity St David. Claire Abraham is a governor's support officer, you know, the equivalent of Kath Gilbert, you know Kath very well, in Swansea Council. She's been a governor on Rosafon previously. She lives in Cwmafon. And the third application is from a lady called Leanne James. She lives in Port Talbot. She's a senior probation officer for the local area. There is no difference between any of the categories of governor, because we get asked this often. Is there a difference between a local authority governor or a co-opted governor? There isn't. They have the same authority on the governing body.
Are we
We
allowed
have
to
to decide, is it?
Yeah. Do we decide or do you decide?
No, it's a decision for you.
It's you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you, please, councillors. So, like John has just explained, there's 3 applicants. Even though there's 2 positions for the LA governor at this school, there is an opportunity for the third to go on the governing body. John, is that what you
Correct.
just said? Yes,
Yes,
that's
correct.
right.
Yeah.
I reckon, Jeremy, make it easy. The first 2 local authority
Yeah.
and the third one the community. Because
Makes sense if there's
probation,
no,
community.
I think that's a sensible outcome. If you're happy with that, then so for the record, then we'll appoint Laura Hutchins and Claire Abraham as LEA governors, and we will work with the school to appoint Leanne James as the community governor, and they've already indicated they're prepared to do that.
Okay.
Thank you for that. YGG Tillerin, a request here is to reappoint Councillor Helen Kerry Clark.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ysgol Fay Baglan, there's a vacancy here. The application is to appoint Mr. Roger Williams. 2 references have been received, one from Councillor Latham, one from the head teacher of Tywin Primary School, Hayley Burrows. we know Mr. Williams. He's been a governor with us previously. He's helped the local authority out on a number of issues. Both are satisfactory references, and we would warmly recommend his appointment to you.
Great, no problem.
Okay.
And the last one on the list is Ysgol Maes y Coed. A vacancy exists there. The request is to consider appointing Councillor Neath Jenkins into this position.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Great. So do members have any questions as you read the report? No.
Okay, so thank you, Chair. So just to confirm from the discussions that you've just had with John and regarding the proposals as outlined in the report and the decision to each school, could I please have a proposer and a seconder?
I'd like to propose that all the recommendations go through.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
happy to second, Chair.
That's wonderful. Thank you both.
Agenda item 5, urgent items. We have one urgent item.
We
Thank
do.
you.
I'd like to make an urgent item application to you, if I may, members. We've had an application from Councillor Daniel Thomas. He's the elected member for Neath East. He wishes to be considered for an LEA governor position in Knoll Primary School. I make the request because this special cabinet only meets 2 or 3 times a year, and if I don't make the request today, the next likely appointment for him will be September, October time, and that's why the application is made. We have been working. There are currently no vacancies of LEA governor on Knoll Primary School. Members will know the council policy is that priority is given to a locally elected member. So the application made by Councillor Thomas is certainly within accord of the council's policy. We don't like losing any governors. We all know governors give up their time voluntary, and we value the work they do, and they make a great contribution to our schools. We have worked with an individual to see if we can move somebody from one category into the next, and that is proving successful. That lady is Mrs. Leslie Matthews. She was appointed a couple of months back, I think maybe a year ago, back by this committee. Mrs. Matthews used to work for the local authority as the manager of the Education Welfare Service, so she has a great amount of knowledge and experience in the world of education and a good contribution to make. If everything went according to plan, the governing body of Knoll last night met, and they should have appointed Mrs. Matthews as a community governor, making a vacancy then in the LEA category for Councillor Mark Thomas. I haven't had an update from last night, but if you're content, my application is just to dot I's and cross T's. If members would formally remove Leslie Matthews from the category of LEA governor and formally appoint Councillor Dan Thomas into the position of LEA governor.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm happy to go over those recommendations. Do we need to propose and second again on the urgent item?
Yes, please.
So I propose the recommendation as just detailed in the urgent item. If I can, thanks.
Happy to second, Chair.
Wonderful. Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
There are no further items. That ends the business for today. Thank you all for attending, and hope you have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Yes, thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.